Other one.
Good afternoon and welcome back to another episode of Cattle Drive Live. Corey and I have been away a couple of weeks now, Corey.
Yep. We've been on, I guess it was vacation. Yeah.
Call it a little bit of vacation. 1 week was kind of unexpected vacation, and we had a planned one last week for our families. And hey, it's exciting to be back. There's a lot going on in the industry right now. And so, yeah, good to be back. Tonight's episode is one we've looked forward to, for weeks now. Getting to hear the story of Sullivan Supply, the Sullivan family, Sullivan Farms, all things Sullivan tonight. How's that sound?
You bet. It's going to be quite a story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good people. So, yeah, we'll get to dive into that in a little bit. Tonight's episode brought to us by Ty Webster. Tyrone's got a couple of bulls that I heard he's going to try to peddle off in the exchange sale tomorrow night. Is Ty with us? Here we go. We've got the exchange. There he is right there. Hi, Ty.
Ty, buddy.
How's it going?
Good deal. Hey, tell us something real quick. This exchange thing that the Kennedys do, Kennedy Ventures put together, I think 4 or 5 years ago. You're a part of it. Tell us just a little bit about the exchange and tell us what you're offering this year.
Yeah, so this is the first year I'm actually a part of it or invited to the event or however you want to call it. And I've always been a spectator. When it was at the Pork Expo, I went to it every year. I mean, it's just more or less the cream of the crop of about anybody that wants to let go of the good stuff in any species. What's very unique about it is it's hogs, it's cattle, it's sheep, it's goats. I mean, and the way they sell their stuff, I mean, I think it's definitely unique. It's not something you could find online or in a production sale. It's very I mean, it's almost like people are trying to have the best stuff each lot that they sell. And I think it's very cool, very unique, good time of year for us to get ready for it. So it's been awesome. And our entry in the exchange tomorrow night is a choice, or actually we're going to sell both the bulls now, but I've got two In God We Trust on Here I Am's full sister. We originally were going to sell choice before we tested them, and we got them test results back, and one of them came back, the one on the left there came back dirty and TH dirty and DS and PHA free. And then that 45 there on the right came back triple clean. So we thought it would probably be best to sell both of them. I think both of them bring some different things to the table. I think both of them have just from the interest that I've received, I think semen sales on them will be very, very good. The hype on them has been awesome. I can't say enough. It's been kind of a wild couple, 2 or 3 days. They just put that catalog up the other day, and it's crazy who all's wanting to be in the bull business and excited about the, show calf, club calf industry.
Right. And out of In God We Trust, one of the hottest bulls in the industry, and then backed by a full sister to another of the hottest bulls of the industry. Wow, that's a recipe for success right there.
Hopefully. I mean, I think that if you dive into them pedigrees with In God We Trust and having 419 on the backside of him, and then when you get into walks alone, you get all the way back to Miss Perfection and 7587 and then back on 805. I mean, it's stacked with cow families on both sides, and I think that this whole flush was very consistent. These two bulls I thought were bulls from birth. That's why we left them intact. I mean, they just looked like bulls when they were born. And we've got a full sib steer that I would venture to guess will be one of our highlights in our fall sale. And there's two heifers that, depending on how everything goes, I don't know if I'll let them go or not. They're pretty special, I think. So, it's been neat. I think there's a lot of opportunities with them, and it's like I said, it's been pretty wild couple 2 or 3 days.
Corey, earlier today, Ty and I were texting back and forth about these bull calves, and I immediately asked him if there was any heifer mates, and we had been talking for 5 minutes, like pow, pow, pow. And I asked him about those heifer mates, ghosted me.
He
came back. He came back around and answered me, but I don't blame him. I mean, when you got something like that, you don't maybe want to let everything get out. But Ty, what are the terms on these two bull calves?
Yeah, so we're selling 100% of them. I just think it gives the buyer more opportunity to do what they want, what they need to do. I don't want to be the guy that tags along. If they go off and make a bunch of money, more power to them, And we're selling 100% of them. They'll sell as A and B tomorrow night is how they'll sell. High bidder will get choice A and B, then we'll sell the second one. And we're standing behind them 100% on fertility. I don't think it'll be an issue. They're December bulls. They're very, very masculine and well endowed. I mean, I think that part will be just fine. And like I told a couple people, that are just kind of looking to get into the bull business, as far as leaving them here to get ready for repicturing them as mature bulls or taking them to Oklahoma City or Denver, your choice, that's all negotiable, and we'd be okay with doing it. So
awesome.
But that's kind of the long and the short of it on them too.
Well, good deal. Well, Todd, thank you for this tonight. Good luck at the sale tomorrow.
Hey, and make sure and tell that new owner there's a bull stud in South Dakota that's got a pin safe for him.
I forgot to mention that. It's got to be guaranteed to go to 605 or else it's
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Ty.
Hey, that exchange deal is pretty slick. If you have you need to look through. I mean, a couple of years ago they sold some rabbits and some chickens.
Oh,
it's kind of, I mean, that's kind of the lighter side of it. But tomorrow on Walton Webcasting at 1:00, they're going to have like an ESPN pregame top show and go through, talk to these guys, talk about these lots. It's at Tulsa at the Hard Rock Casino. But Blake and Todd Kennedy do a fabulous job with this sale, and it's become something of the elite. And so the summer exchange tomorrow night, Hard Rock Casino at Tulsa. So hey, two big sales this past weekend in Texas.
We sure did. Both of them did Drive Marketing episodes with us. Share the Brand. That crew down there in College Station. They sell 83 lots, gross $737,000, averaged $8,879. Top seller was Brian Martin's In God We Trust daughter out of his C15 MAB cow. She brings $49,000. Lot 3 down there brings $40,000. She was also an In God We Trust. And then you move up the road there that Saturday afternoon, Adam Potts and Brett Cody and Jared Arthur there in Wichita Falls at Adam Potts's place sell 55 lots to gross $394,638 to average $7,446. Lot 4 was the high seller for $27,000. The full sib to the Denver champion steer at Jared's that he raced brings $26,000. Potts's American bred heifer brings $25,000, and they sell half interest in that donor cow Adams for $22,000. Bred market still staying strong. There's still a great market for good cattle for sure.
Yeah, you're talking about two sales that were several hours apart. Both of them have quite a bit of success. Both of them very reputable outfits, guys that are industry leaders, stand behind the cattle, and congratulations to a whole, I guess, big plethora of guys involved.
That's for sure.
Well, it's that time. We're going to bring in our good buddy Alan Lee tonight with Vita Firm. Alan, you're also joined with who we've got? Shane Shockey with us tonight.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, good deal. Our guys at Vita Firm are with us for the year. We're excited about that. And I texted Alan today and told him who was on. And as always, Alan jerked that rabbit right out of the hat, said I got the deal. So, Alan, Tell us about some exciting news that's coming from not only Vita Firm, but also our feature tonight with the Sullivan Supply.
Yeah, Brett, we I was really excited when you texted this morning and told me who all was on, because we're going to try a deal that we don't ordinarily do, and we've offered or agreed to an exclusive with one of our really good long-term customers, and that being Sullivan Supply, on a product that's been around for a while, but we're gonna offer it in a different way. And what that is the good old green stuff, Brett. When I was talking to our marketing team, I told them, all those years I worked that tent in the yards at Denver, people come in and they say, "Hey, you have any of that green stuff?" And
I was one of them.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna call you out, Corey, but
yeah, I guarantee you.
I really think we should do a marketing campaign on the good green stuff. But any which way, some years ago, we decided to change the size of our Vita Charge cattle drench from a 1 gallon to a 5 liter, in order to make it a little more user friendly for the commercial guys to use chute side. And I guess if there's some complaints, I was the one that made that decision, and it was just an effort to help the commercial cattlemen that were running a lot of numbers, and throughout my career at Biozyme, I've been really intrigued by the commercial sector and those guys and what they're attempting to do, and really appreciate their business mind and what they're doing. And anyways, it led me to make that decision. And what I didn't take into consideration was, some of these families around the country that are showing 2 to 4 or 5 head of cattle. And, to buy a 5 liter jug of cattle drench is, it's pretty tough. There's so many doses in that. And so anyways, through some conversation, to get to the meat and potatoes of it, we're going to offer that in a 32 ounce container exclusively through Sullivan Supply this summer. Awesome. So we're really excited about that coming into the Junior National time period, and those guys, I've received numerous calls. They're really excited and they're ready to get their hands on it, and we're just days away from that. So pretty excited about that, and nobody better than that crew to get it out in front of everybody for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just assumed that you did away with the little jug because it was so good at getting things to eat. I assumed that it ate all the little containers.
I love the way you think, as always, Brett. But those guys that are running 2,000 and 3,000 head of yearlings and more through the chute, just logic on how that works. But we're really excited about this. I'm particularly excited because it's going to fit right in the door of the show box when my kids and I go to Junior Nationals this summer, and it should be good. I'm excited to see what it does.
Well, that's good.
That is the best product I've ever used. Boy, you take one that just won't touch nothing at the show and you put some of that in them, it'll make them tear the feed pans down.
Yeah. You were asking about that John Tucker earlier, Corey, and when my kids started showing a little more competitively, he said, that cattle drench is part of the regimen, don't you? I said, yeah, Tuck, I know what it does. So
right.
It's been around a while, and it's certainly a good product, and like I say, it's the same good green stuff in a different bottle. So we're excited about it. Brett, one thing I wanted to tell you too, you guys had me on here, I don't know, a month or so back, and the preliminary or early feedback that we're getting from our Sure Champ Extreme with Clarifly has been unbelievable.
Good.
We're really getting into fly season in the South here, and I don't know about Shane, he can touch on it, but I've received numerous phone calls about people that are feeding that product and getting along really, really well with it. So I just wanted to touch on that because we did talk quite a bit about it, a month or so back, and it's going very well. Sales are good. A lot of cattle on that product.
Right. My neighbor here, he's 78, 79 years old, Donnie Cawthorn. He doesn't say very much. And he told me the other day that the cattle business would be a lot of fun if it wasn't for neighbors' bulls, bad fences, and bred heifers. And I think that I'd like to add flies to that because they're a nemesis at my house, and it's a constant battle. So, but anyway.
Well, hey, speaking of flies, it's time to get cows out on pasture. Shane, what can you tell us about Vita Firm products and what you got going on as these guys start kicking the cows to grass up here?
Yes, sir, especially up there where you guys are at. I don't even know what the temperature is up there, but I know down here in Kansas it was 90, 92 out already.
Yeah.
So Alan was just talking about the Sure Champ Extreme, the Clarify, and that's got a heat pack in it. And I've actually been feeding the heat mineral to our cattle for the last month or so just because trying to get prepared for all that. We're still trying to get a few cows bred, and so we're actually feeding Conceptate with heat. And to me, if we can't get cows bred, we're not going to make any money in this cow deal. And, so I think being sure and getting those cows bred and even keeping them bred throughout the summer is definitely key. And I think that's where our Conceptate and Conceptate heat line comes into factor. But once we get them bred, I think we can really switch over and just feed the Vita Firm heat. We don't need those elevated vitamins in there, but we need to keep that heat pack in. It actually has some garlic in it to try and keep some of those flies away. You were talking about flies earlier, Brett. We are actually surrounded by stalker cattle all around us. And so you can only imagine how we're fighting flies right now. And I mean, we're feeding that heat to try and help with that. And it'll also help with a lot of ticks too. So if you've got some country with some wooded timber and whatnot, that garlic in there really helps kind of keep the ticks out and keep some cattle out grazing throughout the day. And once we kind of get into some of the cooler months after we wean our calves, and, all we're asking those cows to do is really maintain. I think, Alan, didn't we come out with Conserve last year or 2 years ago? And
Yes,
it's been a hit since we came out with that. That's just, pretty much for us, it's 100% maintenance mineral. Once we're not asking those cattle to do anything, we can put them on that Conserve. And we do offer that with garlic as well. And in all these lines, we have multiple different options, to fit your needs, whether it's garlic or CTC for anaplasm or some Clarify as well, like what's in the Sure Champ Extreme too.
Gotcha. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, from breeding season to running cows on grass and transitioning, in terms of gestation period, you guys have it covered. So good products, good company, and good people for sure. So, but well, hey, thanks. Shane, while I got you on here, if somebody's interested in visiting with you, how does somebody go about getting a hold of you to just visit about some of those options that you guys have?
You can go on biozyme.com and pull up everything we have, or I even think vitafirm.com as well. You can touch base with your ASM for that area. I cover the state of Kansas, so if you're in Kansas watching, you can give me a call or shoot me an email or whatever you need to do. But we'll get you in touch with one of us through those websites, and then try and get you all the information you need and point you towards the dealer in your area.
Good deal. All right,
Brett, I'll tell you, Shane's one of just one part of our crew, but Shane takes great pride and care in his customers, and will certainly go above and beyond to take care of those guys. So I encourage them to reach out to him. And Corey, just to add, after coming out of our visit with Ty, or your visit with Ty Webster, when those new owners get those bulls to 605, I'm sure they can find some Vita Firm around there. Right?
Hey, I guarantee you they'll be on a Vita Firm stress tub the day they get there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
Ty on a stress tub right now.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you're right.
Oh man. All right, well, guys, thanks, and we'll see you next month. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Whew, man, I tell you what, this next guy is we hadn't had him on here in just a little bit, but
No.
he's been busy. He's had a little paperwork he's had to do. He is now an ordained.
He is an ordained minister.
Uh-huh.
He hung up the semen tank this week.
Yeah.
And he is currently tonight coming to us live from the Oklahoma State baseball game.
There he is.
Hi, boys.
Okay.
Hi, boys. How are you?
Doing,
Well, I'm good. I bought my first OSU shirt this year
okay.
because I wanted to look like I'm a part of the native crowd around here. But I'm at O'Brate Stadium. OSU is currently it's 0-0 at the bottom of the fourth. But the Cowboys, they win tonight. They'll host a super regional here. They're playing Arkansas tonight. So I've missed all this baseball season, but by golly, I got here when it counted. So yep. So I'm at the game. I came outside, and the little ticket girl said she let me back in here in a little bit. So
Gotcha.
yep. But it is feel good to be back in Stillwater. It's been a long spring. And
how many miles, Jake? How many miles did you make this spring?
Right at 44,000 since February 24th.
Wow. My goodness.
44,000.
Yeah. I started back in Ohio and West Virginia. Some of these pictures you're seeing, that picture there to the right was when I was in Dodge City, Kansas, the OK Corral there on the right. And then, of course, that other picture is just shipper jug that I had there. I was actually filling semen in that middle picture, and little girl there was helping me. That's in Wisconsin, actually, at a place. And so anyway, so some of these pictures I sent Paige are some of the highlights. Of course, the one there on the right there is John and I. When I came home for the bull sale, we took a picture together there in the semen room. And then the guy in the middle there, the guys in the middle, that's at Weingartner's there in Ohio. So that's Brad and Tyler Weingartner. And then the picture there on the left, that's Dr. Larry Horseman. So that's Dr. Horseman there in West Lafayette, Indiana. And of course, that sign says I've castrated everything on this place, so be careful. So I'm holding that sign. I'm standing away from him because if you look real close at his head, he's got a scalpel in his head. So, it's been a great spring. Hey, I want to thank everybody for being a part of the G-Bar and being so gracious and inviting me into their places. And hey, it's just been a wonderful trip. I can't tell you how many places I've been on, and I'll know more about that here in a couple weeks. But it has been a great spring. But boy, I cannot tell you. I did get a chance to marry two really good friends of mine, Bailey Cropa and Cole Griman, Friday afternoon in Sioux Falls, and then I jumped in the car and drove straight home. I got home about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then jumped in the car with Colonel Steve, and we drove to College Station, and I made the commentary on the Share the Brand sale. So, awesome. Hey, it's been a good weekend, but boy, it feels so good to be home. Really good to be home. So,
yeah.
So I'll be at the Exchange tomorrow night too. So,
gotcha.
Hey, Kent, how much grief are you going to get from the K-State crowd?
I really don't care right now. K-State didn't even make it out the Big 12 tournament. So, when you move to Stillwater, Oklahoma, you kind of have to become somewhat of a pseudo Cowboy fan. There's just no way getting around it. And hey, if I wasn't a K-State alumni and fan, I'd be a Cowboy fan. And so I root for the Cowboys every day of the year except when they're playing my Cats. So, but I am here with Colton Pratts and his pretty little girlfriend, and they had me over for dinner tonight. And that's what I love about living in Stillwater. Everybody looks out for everybody, and I've just got so many people we can do so many things with here in Stillwater. be honest with you, I love it in the summertime when the students are gone. It's a lot of fun. So,
hey, Greg Griswold told me one time that being an old man in a college town will keep you young.
so, it does. It does keep you young. Yeah, because
awesome.
all your friends are 25 and 30 years old. You can't say no to them. So, Greg's probably at home in the easy chair tonight, though, already.
Oh yeah, probably. He's the one that he's the one that keeps the wheels squeaky around the G-bar.
Yeah.
He uses it all.
Yeah, he does.
Hey, Kevin Mears says that should we call you Father Kent?
Yeah, that's what Bonham kept calling me, was Father Bruce the other night. So
Father Bruce.
Yeah, Father Bruce. That's my new name. Unbelievable.
I love it.
Yeah. RJ actually texted me and said that was the first wedding he'd ever gone to, that he was happy he went to the ceremony. It was just as much fun as the party. So
that's what I talked to Brigham Stewart. He said the same exact thing. He said, that's the first time I was glad I went to the wedding.
Yeah. Awesome. I told him, hey, part of my service was I told the story about when Cole and I met, and I told him I started out real serious. And then I popped off and told a funny story about Cole, and I said, you folks actually didn't think I was going to keep this that serious. Seriously. I mean, when they ask Jakey to marry you, you aren't going to take it too serious.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and hey, I hope I get an opportunity to get to do that again. That was a lot of fun. So
good deal. Good deal.
All right.
Okay, Jake, get in there and holler Orange Power and see if we can win a ball game tonight.
All right, boys. I thank you for having me on all these weeks, and I appreciate everything you've done, and I wish you great success, and I hope I can be a part of this again. And I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for being so gracious this spring, and it's been a great spring for me and for the G-Bar. And hey, I hope these genetics go out and do what I know they'll do for them, and see them all next year again.
There you go. Sounds good, Jake. Take care.
All right,
Take care, Ken. Later, bud.
Man.
He's a goer.
Hey, those Power Cats are going to cut him. He ain't going to have to worry about that bet. So, nope. Hey, let's get right into the meat and potatoes of tonight. And hopefully that they're ready to go. We kept them waiting just a little longer, but big night. But tonight, we have the pleasure to sit and visit with John and Miss Dee Dee Sullivan, owners and operators of Sullivan Farms, Sullivan Supply, all kinds of stuff, all things Sullivan. How's that sound?
Sounds good. We're ready.
Keeps us busy.
Oh yeah, it does keep you busy. So hey, just real quick for the folks listening, the folks that will watch this coming up, take just a minute and tell us a little bit currently about what's going on with you guys, who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into the old school cool.
There you go.
Okay. Well, we're still, actively hitting things pretty hard. We like what we're doing, so we're kind of full on. We're always going forward, and actively what we're doing now is we're kind of expanding our manufacturing business quite a bit. And then we've kind of set up some marketing partnerships where now we've kind of got locations with, say, Charles Hill in Oklahoma, or Jason Weaver kind of travels in Georgia and Florida for us, and Justin Shuffler in Indiana, and then tied that with a new operation in Ohio. And we've got that one in California we've had for years. The one in Texas, we're actually building a new building right now. We poured cement the last week there. And then in Dunlap, we are always expanding and kind of doing some new creative things. So we've got a lot of irons in the fire right now, to be honest. We kind of went right through COVID, and instead of sitting back and doing anything, we kind of went the other way. We kind of pushed a little harder. So we're looking forward to coming out of that and getting a lot of new things going next couple of years.
John keeps saying every year we're going to slow down. We're going to pull it back. And for years he said that, but
she's give in.
I don't even know.
Now she doesn't care. Now she just kind of goes with the flow.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
It's all good.
Hey, what about the girls? We were just visiting with Kent Jakey there at Oklahoma State. You guys have you a cowgirl, don't you?
We do. We're proud to have a cowgirl. She fit right in. She just finished her freshman year. Loves it. She's doing ag business.
Okay.
So that's a good thing for us. Someday, hopefully, she'll want to join the family business. And then we've got Sage, who is going to be in 8th grade, and she's our creative one. She loves the creative part of new products. She's come up with some herself that made it into the catalog. She comes up with some good names when James and Scott Kinzer need new product names.
She come up with the name of our new boutique trailer that we're going to talk about in a little bit, called the Stock. So Sage she's a creative kid.
And she's incentivized by some money from her dad too. So
once in a while. She comes up with a good name, I give her $100.
Dang. I hope Grady and Hudson aren't listening to this. They're going to be texting too.
That's for sure.
Hey, Corey, let's get right in and talk about this and kind of jump back. I really, really like your T-shirt, your marketing shirt that says "Old School Cool." I think it's legit. I think it's the coolest logo out there outside of the monkey. But dive in and tell us just a little bit about the Old School, Corey.
Yeah, guys, just kind of, I mean, I've heard a little bit of it in a couple podcasts that you've done, John, but just kind of tell us how it started, where the idea, I know I've seen pictures of the back of the pickups at the early shows. Just tell us a little bit about the history.
We started up in 1989, and it was pretty, on a shoestring budget, I would say. We were 23 years old, and to be honest, we just didn't know what we were getting into. If you're going to be really truthful about it, we love this industry. We're just trying to figure out a way to get involved in it. And, we honestly didn't have the capital to get in land or cows or anything like that. And I mean, talking about old school, my mom and dad they're a great support team, but I mean, they're not going to give you 1 cent. That's just like you're on your own, and we'll support you emotionally, but you got to go create your own things. That's how we grew up. So there's a little bit of old school just element even within our family. I'd say myself, brothers and sisters, and we brothers and sister, and we still believe in that. You can be aggressive, you can be innovative, and you just got to be good at the basics still.
Yeah, John had to be very creative with getting inventory in and, convincing the vendors that, well, if you just sell it, send it to us, we'll pay you. And then, it all worked out, but it was a little creative process.
Well, it was 1989, and that was right after that farm crunch.
Yeah.
So nobody really wanted to borrow a young guy with not much capital. They didn't really want to give you much of a chance. So, but we started, it's kind of funny. We started with one trailer, just basic, and we were in a little small garage. And truth be known, hey, that one trailer, I used to sleep in that thing, went to shows.
No trucks.
We didn't know. Yeah, we did not own a truck. So we bought a trailer for $6,900. True story. And couldn't afford a pickup either. So we had a close flight trailer, but we didn't have a pickup. So I borrowed my brother Joe's pickup, and we'd go down the road. And his pickup, and it's just, we still laugh about it today. It was a piece of junk. It was 20, 30 years old, something like that. And he was in the Pharaoh to Finish Hogs himself at the time. And he had cloth seats. And every time you hit a bump or you put your hand on a seat, boom, fluff up, hog dust, and all of a sudden that's flying through the air. And I mean, just never really could get rid of it. So you smelled like a hog the whole time you're at the cattle show. And it wasn't a pretty show pig smell. It was more of that kind of, that other
last week's pig.
Yeah. So we really did start that way, and then after things progressed, right away you could kind of tell things were going pretty good. And we started developing products slowly, and it would just kind of happen a lot of small pieces over time. And we just stair stepped one thing, next thing, next thing. And we moved into an old grocery store in town, and we were there for many years, and that worked out pretty good. When we first moved in there, funny stories about it didn't have any heat.
The refrigerator boxes.
Yeah. So the place didn't have any heat. So people would walk by on Main Street of Dunlap, and you couldn't even see in during the wintertime because it was all frosted over. You could never look out, and we didn't have very good lighting in there, and we didn't have any shelving. Everything was in a box. We were organized, but it was in a box. And we got tired of being cold all the time when we were doing our paperwork. So we went across the street to the old appliance store, and we built some offices out of old refrigerator cardboard boxes.
Really?
Yeah, we'd cut them in half and then leave it where it could kind of swing out, a little bit.
A door.
Yeah.
And what year are you talking about? What year?
What year?
Oh,
like 1990?
90,
yeah.
90 to 95 area.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it was just like, then you had your little milk heater inside your little
not safe at all.
Yeah. And you could get by with wearing a stocking cap and maybe gloves. But a lot of them things, and honestly, when you're young and things were a little different then, we didn't care. It was no big deal.
Yeah.
It was just another thing that you did. And I mean, honestly, we were capital poor for 15 years, maybe even getting up close to 20 years in the business, because you're doing well, but you're growing at the same time, and you just struggle to afford things as you move forward and then pay all your bills. And it was a lesson learned. I mean, looking back, I don't even know if I would have tried it. If we would have tried it,
if we would have known.
Yeah, if I was 33 years old, I probably wouldn't have tried it. So full ignorance in there.
So we've talked about you guys starting Sullivan Supply in the early days. You guys didn't just wake up one morning and say, you know what, we ought to make some glue and some paint and go to a show. John, your involvement in this industry was prior to Sullivan Supply. What did that look like? Where did that knowledge come from to make this step?
I always showed steers when I was a kid, and my dad was the dad that would never pick up a wash rack hose. So if you didn't get up, your steer didn't get rinsed, But he'd give you an opportunity. Like I said, it really wasn't his industry that he was probably in love with. He was more of a small row crop farmer and ran an egg business in town. But he would support he supported your goals and your dreams. So, showed steers, you loved it. And then I went to work for a purebred limousine operation in Texas, Rose Yankee Cattle Company. Dee Dee and I did. And then we went to Little Mondo Limousine in Genoa, Nevada. And after that, we came home, and we just really want to get involved in the industry and work for ourselves. That was really the goal. And we slowly over time developed our product line. That took a long time. It wasn't like 20 things just popped up right away. It was a very slow process of that. And a lot of it was done with my best friend from one of my best friends from high school, Scott Kinzer. He's still with us today with our new product development. Him and James Sullivan are key with us. And those two, myself and Matt Burkhart, who's our general manager, we have new product meetings once a month, and it's our brainstorm session. And we all get in a room and we pick things apart that we don't like and we like about what we're doing. And we have a laundry list of stuff we're going to do, and we won't get to it for 3 or 4 years, but there's a motion going forward at every step. And I'm actually pretty excited about that, because I think that's what we've got coming down the pike a lot the next 2 years. Is a lot of really neat products that we've been working on that may have been slowed down a little bit from COVID with other companies, where they're a plastic company or a research and development company, that they were an engineering company. A lot of them places weren't quite as easy to get their attention and work with during COVID. So we got a lot of irons in the fire, and that's one of the things we're looking forward to, is bringing a lot of them out.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever told you this, John, but one time it was I was going to say about 1990, 91, right in there. My dad took some Simmental bulls to the Dunlap sale barn for a special bull sale over there. And you come in there in a I think he said it was a pull behind trailer, deal, and had some bulls to unload, and the line was long, and you asked him if you could cut in line, and he said you could, and then after you unloaded, you reached in the back of your pickup and gave him two silver cans, didn't have no labels on them or nothing, and that were the first, or some of the first. He said you were trying to make adhesive, to make a product or whatever, and at that time we were using 3M, if I remember right, and that's what we'd use for adhesive, and he said you were making that then, but that's in a few moons back.
I can't remember it, Corey.
What's that? Yeah, I know it's been.
I can't remember that.
Yeah, I know. I just thought that was because they did the first cans that did not have labels on them.
Well, we'd pass some out,
Yeah.
About right. You pass them
Yeah.
out, get some feedback, and we're still pretty lucky right around this area right here. There's a lot of showmen, and we can get a lot of feedback after we think we got something. Of course, our own crew here is, very critical too to our success of new products, even our show cattle team.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're just in a nice little show cattle region. We're not as big as Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Dunlap, Iowa, but it's got that same culture. And honestly, for a small town, we've got a really neat young people culture around here.
Yeah, very lucky.
That's great.
Dee Dee, tell us a little bit the mushier side of the Sullivan story here. When did you and John meet? You talked about you guys being a part of the Rosenke days. Tell us about how you guys met and what it was on your side of having a aggressive husband in terms of a desire and a want. Tell us about that side.
Well, John and I are definitely pretty much polar opposites. He's very aggressive, very competitive, and I'm very, very laid back. I like to be in the backstage, back scenes, and don't do a lot of the talking ever. He does all that. But no, we met, we were juniors in high school, and all the surrounding towns came to Dunlap to drive around on Friday and Saturday nights. So I was with my girlfriend, and I don't know, we just ended up together that way. So since we were juniors in high school, and then I followed him to Rosenke. I went to college down there, followed him to Little Mondo in Nevada, and then came back here, and we got married the year after we started the show supply. So we got married in 1990.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So innovation's always been a big part of Sullivan's. What is the story true that the original can-of-tail adhesive is still there? It's still here today. I mean, when you finally perfected, I think it's perfect. I mean, I'll just say it. I'll just step out there and be the guy that said I think it's perfect. I mean, innovation side of you, do you mess with stuff, or you just say, hey, this works, don't reinvent the wheel? I mean,
yeah. Well, there's some of those things like, first of all, to answer your question, I don't know. I'd have to ask Scott Kinzer on the tail adhesive can. He might have that thing hidden somewhere. I know we do have like the first Air Express blow dryer, and some of them. I can't really remember on the.
He's asking if it's the same formula.
Yeah. Oh, it's the exact same formula.
Right?
Yeah, it's the same formula today as it was when you started.
You don't touch that. It's like that green stuff with that Vita Firm drench. I used that stuff when I was still, 25 years old. I think that thing has to be around for 25 plus years.
Oh, so.
And it's just elite. And we got 2 or 3 products like that ourselves. We're never going to touch tail adhesive, Revive, and some of them products like that. Now you got some products like Clean Sheen. We've had some hair, growth products in them in the past, and some hair vitamins and some things like that you think you can upgrade them. But then you've got your products that, hey, no, we're not gonna. They are what they are. You really can't get them any better. And when we do new products, we don't come up with something new just to be new. A lot of people think you're just trying to come up with something new. just to put it out in front of the people. And that is a bad business practice. When we come up with a new product, it's got to be authentically better, or there's got to be a use for it. Otherwise, we don't want that, because after a while you just start chasing your tail, and you're not being what I'd call authentic about it. So, we're always looking at our product line, but there's 3 or 4 or 5 of them now we're not going to touch,
Hey, being down at the store quite a bit here the last couple of years, John, you are ramping up what you're building down there. Tell us a little bit about what gets manufactured there in Dunlap, and how does all that stuff come together? Some of the bigger products.
That's probably what a lot of people don't really understand is through the years is whether it's a Sullivan comb, that's the steel ones, or leather halters are made in Dunlap, the blow dryers, the Beast, the Air Express, the show boxes. The chutes. We manufacture quite a bit of items. We even mix some of the liquid products. We don't have the facilities for some of the larger ones, but a lot of the smaller ones, like say rag oil, for example, we still mix that ourselves. So there's quite a bit of manufacturing there that people probably don't realize.
Gotcha.
If you get to do your own manufacturing, you can control your quality a little better. That's kind of what I've always believed in. Right. You can change quicker, you can control your quality, and you can kind of tune it in a little bit. And you can get a little better response out of your own people. So,
when you talk about innovation, we just recently completed a 6 or 7 week walk through the evolution of the club calf bull, and we started with bulls, black power play in those bulls years ago, and we walked away all the way up to the current bulls today. I say that because they talked about the cattle changing in the years, the hair, bone, hair density has changed. How much ahead of the curve do you try to stay, or do you just follow those trends and then put a product together?
Yeah. Well, you've got to be able to adapt. I think any small business owner or large business owner or anybody in between, farmer, ranchers, anybody, boy, when you're building something, there's not much room for error. When you're kind of the first generation with that business, there's not really much room for error. So we're always willing to adapt, and I think that's very important, really is. But there's this fine line of being jumpy and trendy, and and just being different to be different. Or is it, does it pass a common sense smell test? Then it's going to last forever. And we're going to dive into those things, very, very hard and be aggressive. But just to be fatty and come up with something that, no, we'll let that short-term thing blow away, and we're not going to get caught up in that. And I think that gets a lot of cattle breeders. We haven't really talked much about genetics and breeding here, but I think that gets a lot of people in trouble. It just, it isn't that hard. Just get back to the basics sometimes, and have a few bells and whistles, and don't try to outguess a system. Good cattle's good cattle, good products, good products.
Right.
So that's where we get back a little bit old school once in a while. Is we're very, very aggressive, and we can't even sleep if we're not doing something right. We'll just won't even. You can't get a good night's sleep if something's going bad. You got to get this fixed, kind of mentality. But that's different than being jumpy and just changing all the time. Like, we have a long-term plan of things that we want to do, and we'll adapt in between time. COVID for sure teaches you that, and things like that. But genetics and the trends in the cattle business, we don't pay quite as much attention to. We might be a little behind on that sometimes, believe it or not. And I think that that's in a good way. We're not going to trial the new bulls all the time. And what's wrong with the bull that you've seen what he could do?
Right.
If you've got really good base genetics and really good cows, as long as you keep the genetics kind of honest, then great ones will kind of surface. And, I think products is a little bit the same way. I mean, great products will surface and you'll make great things. Don't try too hard and don't try to be too trendy. And then, we've used the word authentic a few times, and it's got to be, it's got to stand a test of time, and it's got to be that good. It just can't be something that sounds great.
Right.
Hey, this question's for both of you. Sullivan Supply has been such a great industry supporter, just from your scholarship program, junior nationals, etc. Just tell us your thoughts and about why you do how much you do and for the industry.
Well, I can tell you, I get the privilege of I look through all of the scholarship applicants before they get to the judging committee, and oh my gosh, those kids, it's just amazing to see, what's out there and how much quality, and it's just so great to be a part of. We hear it and say it all the time, but a part of this industry that is different than anything else in the world right now, the crazy world things that are going on. So just feel really lucky from that aspect, and to see all those 18, 19, 20-year-old kids and the things that they're accomplishing, and just really, really good feeling, and I'm glad that we can be a part of that. It's been a great program for many years, and it's fun.
We love it. This is our favorite time of year, like junior national season, and we're big supporters of junior nationals. And you see, you get to visit with people. Ty Webster, who was on earlier, hey, I got to call him when he was 18 years old. He won a scholarship, and he exactly exemplifies a scholarship. Somebody gutted it out, bust his butt, does things right, stand-up guy, and it feels nice to be able to. It isn't really the $1,000. We all know that's great, but it's just really nice to hear their voice. They're just fired up, and excited, and they got it's hard to get. We get 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 kids applying for it from around the country. So it's kind of turned into like you've joined a club and a who's who, and part of it. But we do a lot of things. Sullivan Supply. A lot of people don't probably realize it, but we're a pay it forward company and family, and we believe that we do a lot of things that don't make money, and we know they're not going to make money, and we'll do it for the good of the industry, and we hope that it comes back around, or at least doesn't hurt us. And it's like the Pulse, Stock Show University. The amount of money that we pour into them is, I don't even want to say it on here. It's a lot. Just a labor with the Pulse is in traveling expenses significant. But we wanted to be able to have that up to date where people could get on and say, hey, it's a daily news, maybe. And
absolutely
things like that. And hey, we're talking about the stock market, this little fan shop we're putting together, and it's probably another money loser. It's not really going to make any money, and everybody will think we're pulling out this big fancy trailer and we got all this stuff in here and we're selling all this. And basically, it's like an NFL pro shop when you walk in it. It's got all this, except it's for the cattle industry and goat industry and sheep industry and hog industry. And everybody will think, oh gosh, you guys, they're going to cut a fat rat. And I'm like, you can't really say it, but no, we're going to lose money on it probably. And the industry is a little too small and specialized. But now people and kids that are interested in it, it keeps them fired up.
Right.
And they like it, and they got a place to go get maybe it's a backpack with a cow on it. Maybe it's 101 different things. And that's what we want to offer when we're paying things forward.
Yeah, that's good. And you Dee, you mentioned about having 1,200 or 1,500 applicants for these scholarships. And I think something that needs to be said here is you guys are as much a part of that reason, not for the $1,000. Stock Show U itself changed the game, helped change the game in terms of education. when Corey and I were young, I still feel like we're both young, but when we were 15, 16, 17, we learned from each other. And we learned looking up to Gerald Buck or Bob May or whoever the person was. You guys, when Stock Show U elevated the education part, changed the game of how quick a kid could learn a trade. And maybe I'm wrong. I know we had Kirk Sturwalt on the other day visiting and talking about education. And and I think it goes to without saying, you guys were as much part of that as anything. To be commended for Stock Show U. Was that ever something that did you recognize that?
I didn't know that. I mean, I think you got to give the people in the industry a lot of credit for just they adapted themselves, when things got more competitive. And that's they made it, they did it, but we provided a little bit of a vehicle there. And honestly, we did it. We wanted to do that when we first started out in the show supply business, and we did some of them, but then we just didn't have the funds to do them right. And we kind of backed off for 10 or 15 years and tried to pay some bills. And when we started getting ahead, we developed that program, a lot stronger. And it really was going back to my family. We didn't really have anybody that, like I said, my dad was more of a row crop farmer and small business person. He really wasn't a show cattle person. So we kind of went to school of hard knocks, and we want to take a little bit of that away from people.
Right.
That they got a place to go and learn, and that everybody could go, from somebody who was just starting up to somebody that was experienced, and hey, it didn't cost anything. You could just kind of go and learn and get one-on-one, hands-on, kind of get in there. So our grad programs are pretty incredible. We're kind of glad we're getting them cranked back up now over the last year and a half, where they took a little bit of a hiatus, and we're glad to get them going again.
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt that the grad program or the Stock Show U elevated the quality of kids, whether it's fitting something or clipping something. But I tell you, more that I've seen is the confidence that you guys have give those kids to come up to your, I don't have them come up to me. They don't have no reason to come ask me for help, but you see those kids travel around, and they don't have a problem finding a Matt Scasta or a Josh Elder and walking up to those guys, and they've made them real. You guys made those guys real to the young generation. I think that's awesome. So,
yeah, the confidence is a big part. One of my most enjoyable things is you're at them 2-day grad programs, and some kid walks away and he knows how to do a hind leg pretty good. And somebody he was very confident. And he just kind of did it a few times and got his confidence up. And then, like you said, there's a professor over top of him building a relationship too. So we try to keep them like 1 to 6, 1 to 10,
right,
so they can spend that one-on-one time. And that's one of my things that I enjoy the most, is going to those and watching those kids kind of go from no confidence to, Brett, what you said, feeling like they can do it. And by the way, little clippers help nowadays too.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they do.
They're better than big old sheep heads we used to learn
on. Exactly. Yeah.
That's expert only. Yep.
Yeah.
Ricky Day in Texas. Do you know Ricky Day?
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Day tried to clip a steer one time. I'll never forget this. I was about 16. And when he brought this steer to get clipped, there was a big chunk missing right out of the back of it. And he said, Ricky said, clipping is like flying an airplane. He said, if you ever get the nose down, it's sure hard to get her back up.
And that's a pretty serious steer family there too.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
so for sure. Hey, tell us a little bit about, you've touched on Sullivan Farms a little bit, Texas, or tell us a little bit about how that kind of works with the store and what you got going out there east of Dunlap.
Well, that was a slow process. Probably 1998 or so, 97 or so, we started kind of getting a little better genetics put together and a little more land base and so forth. So that's been a slow process. I mean, we're pretty fortunate out there. We've got long-term employees, and we all know that you can't, you got to have good people with you. And I mean, my gosh, John Elder and Nate Tice and Josh Elder. I mean, you're talking about guys who have been with us for many, many years. And then on top of that, they're very special individuals. They're the right kind of people. You want your kids around them, you know, you want your family and your kids around them. And then they're very talented. So they've taken that thing to the next level. They really have. I don't get as much time out there as I like. I mean, I pay attention to the genetics, and those guys make everything happen. And I couldn't be more thankful to them. So we have about 300 ET calves out there a year in the spring, and about 80 in the fall right now. Multi-breeds, Angus, Simmental, Chianina for the most part. A little bit of Limousine working in there now. A little bit of Maine, a little bit of Shorthorn. We love it. You know, it's a challenge to see how well you can breed them. Love seeing where genetics are going, and it doesn't always work out like you think. But we enjoy that just as much as the first day. Right. Really do.
Hey, I see on Snapchat a lot. You guys have a world-renowned lawnmower out there as well. I see.
Oh God! If I bring up his name, he's going to get real proud.
The line. They talk about the line.
Yeah. Zastro is proud of his lines.
Yes, he is.
He's pretty good. He's a good one.
It's fun to give him a bad time. It's good to have around.
Right. John, you've had some pretty instrumental females in the business, multiple breeds. You've had some elite donors for sure, and still do. It's not, I hate to say had, you do have. Is there a favorite donor in the past, even before Sullivan? Let's talk about some of those favorite cows of yours.
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, the original first one was Cookie, no doubt about that. That was a limited, you know, that thing started. And then after that, there were several. That 6640, you know, there's a lot of good things that went back to her. Several Supreme champions and, you know, the biggest and best of the shows. And now we got more daughters going in production that are just replicating themselves. And that's kind of the neatest thing is I don't know if I have a favorite, you know, donor cow or cow. I don't really look at them that way, but it's really gratifying to see them replicate themselves. You know, we're getting, gosh, I don't know. The heifer that won Supreme in Louisville in not last fall, but the fall before, was she 3 generations here, you know, with their dam maybe. So you're starting to see, and they keep producing them, you know. So really good, fundamentally sound females with that are kind of faultless. They'll replicate themselves so you don't get pressing too many issues. And it kind of goes back to that old school thought process, you know. We're very aggressive, but it kind of goes back to don't try too hard and don't mess it up and don't get too trendy. So then you're in the middle, and if you got really good genetics, it'll just kind of rise. And as they get older, it rises too, you know. And better, authentic cattle. A lot of people can win a beef expo with one that's not quite right and got 4 little things wrong with it. And by the time she weighs 1,200 pounds, those things will all start popping out, kind of wrong, you know. Yeah. And we just always kind of went with just make them good. Mm-hmm. And don't push muscle to the limit. Don't push flatness to the limit. Don't push rib to the limit. Don't push neck length to the limit. Don't push anything to the limit. Just kind of take it all in stride and try to make them good, and don't get, you know, don't get trying to outfox it too much, you might would say.
Yep, you bet. That makes perfect sense. The other thing you guys do a really good job is daily care. So, you know, and I know that's probably, that's just how you guys do things, is you do things right. But does the farm help you guys at the office? I mean, is there a point in there which you say, hey guys, this may not work, but I really need you to try this?
I mean, we keep that separate just because everybody's going so fast and hard around here. I mean, we're not. If you're wanting to work somewhere and quit at 5 o'clock, we're probably not that place. So,
Hey, wait a minute. What was that again? Say that louder for those people that are in the back. What was that?
We got some pretty dedicated people around here. So the farm guys, we pretty much leave alone. They put in enough hours and enough effort. They help us with obviously Nate Tice, my nephew James, who now does our new products. He and Scott Kinzer. He used to work in our show barn, him and Tice, for a while. So they have an absolutely great relationship. So there is a lot of the show barn guys are the secondary testers, you would say, a lot of the products. And of course, we get good ideas. We get a lot of good ideas from our customers. They'll come up the trailer and say, well, why didn't you do this? And you're like, well, why didn't we do this? Kind of thing. So the farm crew is definitely a whole bunch of talented guys that know how to get it done, from cattle breeding. And what I love about those guys is they can do it all. Calf cows, AI. They're just not going to a show. Run a production program, no nutrition program. I mean, we got an awesome, our donor results, preg rates, just, we're always striving. We don't want to be average. So we're always striving to do better. And them guys are always raising the bar. So
you bet. Hey, before we hop off here, guys, what's next? Can you give us any, from the laboratory, any hints on what's coming down the pipe in terms of innovation?
Not really. We don't really talk about it until we come out with it, to be honest. But I'm really excited about that. Like I said before, that the next 2 years, Scott Kinzer and James Sullivan are going to bring out an arsenal of really neat products, and not because they're different, because they're good. Right. And we got a lot of things in motion. We've invested a lot in our buildings and our trailers, and just trying to do everything better and get closer to our customers and go even to more shows than we used to. More little shows. We're trying to hit as many, because again, we don't need to go to every show and make money. If we go to half the shows we go to probably don't really amount to much, but we're going to go for our customers, and then hopefully maybe down the road we'll hit them at a big show, and maybe we'll do all right at that show. Yeah. So we're just going to keep charging on and try to do better within and stay innovative. That's what we're going to do.
You bet.
If you hop on the Pulse right now and look at the show schedule, our current show schedule, you'll be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's long.
Right.
Really?
Lots of shows.
We're going to about somewhere between 800 and 900 shows a year this in 2000. And now that's 7 locations per se.
Yeah.
But it might be around 50 shows.
Wow. Awesome. Well, we ask everybody that's been on, or we've tried to remember to ask, and I want to ask both of you one at a time or together. What's your favorite thing to this point in the life of John and Dee Dee Sullivan? What's the thing you're most proud of to this point?
Well, I've got a girl right over here saying it's me. It's me.
Sage is sitting in the car herself.
There you go, Sage.
It is. It's Sage, and I'm so proud of our girls and the fact that they were able to grow up in this industry and to, go to shows and see them interacting with other families that, those families John showed with them. I was with him, and now their grandkids are starting to show, so it's generation and it's just, it's great. So I guess my girls, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good
kids. We like what we're doing, and we got a great, good group of kids and great group of employees.
He's not so bad.
So
I'll keep him around.
No, he's not so bad.
My wife put up with me the first 10 years. She should have told me to hit the road many a time. She worked way too hard and did way too much.
Oh man.
I asked a lot.
Right.
Wow.
Crazy times.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we appreciate everything you do for the industry, and thanks a lot for being on the Cattle Drive Live tonight.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Corey. Thank you,
Fun.
Brett. You guys are great
You
guys.
bet.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you asking us to be on here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking the time in your busy schedule. So we'll catch up with you in a few weeks at a junior national.
We'll see you at Junior Nationals. Best time of the year.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Man, just such good people, Corey.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very, very cool.
And and gosh, I have the luxury of being nice about them at the Maine Junior Nationals. They've been so supportive of our herdsman's gathering each year, and John gets right in the mix. And I don't know how many times they've tried to pour a bucket of water on him or whatever just to raise. He's all about enjoying things, but I say this all the time about him. I try to say it every year. People think you can't go talk to John Sullivan. You can. He is so approachable. He's so nice, and even
I had two of them kids call me this year after John called them, and boy, you'd have thought he don't think of himself this way, but you'd have thought Donald Trump had called them kids,
Yeah.
And but that's just kind of how them kids look up to him in the industry for sure.
That's right. Yep. You bet. Well, hey, we're going to wrap this thing up. Our last segment's always Cattlemen's for Christ. And tonight we're going to talk James 1:2-4. It speaks about faith and endurance, Corey. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow." So in troubling times, know that he's there, and that's it. So
Amen, brother.
2-4. That's right. So, well, next week I don't really know what we're going to do. I think we have we've got us a plan. I'm not going to let it out of the bag just yet. We've had quite the week, and actually we've had quite the last 3 weeks. So,
Yeah.
We'll let you know middle of the week. But hey, good time as always to sit and visit, Corey.
You bet. Good talking to you, man. We'll see you next week, bud.
Yeah, take care.